Hi, my name's El Morgan. Today I'm going to be talking about the book that I read, Classroom of Choice by Jonathan C. Erwin. So, the backbone of this book is something called choice theory, developed by Dr. Glasser, and it takes five components that are essential to human nature. Like, these are things that everyone needs, and there's no way that you can just not need those things. Different people need these things in different degrees. For example, one person might need more security, whereas another person might need more love and belonging, but these are essential needs to every human being. And Glasser's theory is really useful in the classroom because it gives us an insight into what students' needs are and how we can help fulfill them. So first I'm just going to go over the five needs. The first one is security. And so that's going to be things like food, shelter, the basic human needs that we all have, but it also includes future security and physical health because we're able to imagine that. The second one is love and belonging. This one's pretty simple. We are just social creatures, and so we need to have close relationships. We need student-student relationships, student-teacher relationships to feel like our needs are being met. The third one is power, and they actually break it into three groups. One is power over, which is what we normally consider power to be, domination. And the other two categories are power within, which is like an inner ability or an inner belief in yourself, and power with, which is collaboration and working together. And you actually can fulfill this need for power through power within and power with without fulfilling power over, which is good to know for the classroom. Freedom is split into two groups. There's freedom to, which means like, your classic definition of freedom, your ability to do things that you want to do. There's also freedom from, which can be things like freedom from discomfort. Finally, there's fun. Glasser said fun is the genetic reward for learning. And so we actually have to keep that in mind that we are meeting our kids' need for fun in the classroom um, to make sure that we're fulfilling choice theory. I thought that the strengths of the book were that it went from this psychological understanding of human beings and what they need, and then it gave really concrete examples. And the psychological basis just made intuitive sense. And the concrete examples, there's just pages and pages and pages of examples of how you can like help fulfill your kids' needs and why these things will work. And I noticed that a lot of teaching practices actually fulfill parts of choice theory without necessarily identifying it as, oh, this will fulfill power or this will fulfill kids' need for security. And so I thought it was like just a really good framework to see like everything that we do in teaching, not necessarily just what they talked about in the book. And honestly, I couldn't find any weaknesses. It was succinct and I really enjoyed it. The main contributions were classroom management and behavioral growth. Because of choice theory, we're understanding what kids need, and if we're fulfilling those kids' needs, they're going to act out less in the classroom. So this is a way to like have really good classroom management where you have a community of unity and you have security and power and freedom and fun and there's all the things that you would need to make sure that your kids just don't want to act out because they're getting everything they need. You also, I mentioned before that everyone needs different parts of choice theory more than others. Like, I definitely need freedom more than I need security as a person. And so if we understand what our kids like seem to favor and what they need, we can practice differentiation with them. And so this is just a framework to help our individual students as well. In the today's classroom, we can take the abstract to practice through some ideas that were in the book. For example, security, allowing students to get water whenever they want. It's a basic human need, and just giving them that access is also probably going to make them feel like freedom is being fulfilled. A lot of these things, actually, they all are interconnected. With love and belonging, you can just create a classroom that is really unified, where everyone knows each other and knows each other's names, and just create a really strong classroom that way. Power had like a lot of different examples. Like, the one that I thought was the most interesting, because I'm not obviously reading everything in these lists, is teaching real world authentic curriculum. Because the more relevant we make it to our students, the more they'll understand why they need to participate, and the more they can choose, oh, I want to be a part of this, and that gives them power. Freedom, student choice, anything we do to give them agency. And whenever we give novelty in the classroom, that's freedom from, just the same old boring stuff that we do every time. And then fun. That was pretty obvious, honestly. One thing that I found really interesting is reality theory, which allows us to ask 5 questions to students to help them self-regulate. So you ask, what do you want? What are you currently doing to achieve what you want? Is it working? Are you willing to try something different? What's something that might work better for you? And this can help train kids on how to get what they want, but they don't have to like act out. So again, this is really great theory for classroom management. This is an example of a choice board that I made in one of my past classes. And so it fulfills United States History Standard 3. I think it's Strived 2 or something. I'm not quite sure. But it has, as you can see, I'm going to go to the next page. It has 6 activities, but only 4 are required. And so the first 2 are required for everyone, and in the next section you only have to pick one, and the last section you only have to pick one. So every student's going to have activities that fulfill all of the learning outcomes and teach the same content, but it's delivered in different ways. And so after I read the choice theory, or well, classroom of choice, I learned that this is really useful because first of all, it's super organized, which is providing security. Second of all, you're allowed to pick different activities, which is giving them freedom. And it just understands that kids learn differently. There's a zoomed in version of the things. But for example, students in 3A can choose to read something, or they can do 3B and analyze a picture, which might be better for students who maybe don't read as well or who identify more with art. My recommendation is to read this book because it was really awesome and pretty short and full of lots of good ideas, so I'm definitely going to keep it for my classroom.